Oyo-Ita used her companies to launder funds while in service, Efcc. So this woman has been finally taken and now is being quizzed. How people can steal this country? Is there anything, any Nigerian that will not steal in office? Very difficult to. I am telling you, I don't understand why stealing is in our genes, in our DNA like this. That anybody in office, the first thing to think about is what to get out of it. If they are catching them, they are still stealing. They are catching people, more people are still stealing. Now wow. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) witness, Mr. Hama Adama Bello, has told the Federal High Court, Abuja, how Mrs. Winifred Oyo-Ita, the immediate past head of service, used her companies to launder government funds while in service. Bello, a chief superintendent of EFCC and head special investigation team, told Justice James Omotosho on Tuesday in Abuja when testifying as the eighth prosecution witness. Oh boy. So the PWA, while being led in the evidence by the EFCC lawyer Farouk Abdullah, said his team received intelligence from the Office of the Anti-Graft Agency's chairman sometime in 2019. So the intelligence bordered on the activities of the first defendant, Oyo-Ita, her minister then in the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, where she was serving. So the first defendant was the permanent secretary then, and other staff included Mr. Ubong, the seventh defendant. So the team developed intelligence and started the investigation. So in the course of the investigation, we called for documents. So the nature of the intelligence was such that the first and seventh defendants and a host of others were using their offices to get contracts for companies they incorporated or had an interest in, he said. So the witness said the team invited Oyo-Ita and her special assistant, Obong Efiok, having received an analysis of documents relating to intelligence. So the team had an interaction with them, and in the course of the interaction, Mr. Garuba Umar, who is also the fourth defendant, became a person of interest for the investigation, and he was invited. We also had an interaction with him, he said. So according to him, it was discovered that the first defendant, who was Oyo-Ita, was the beneficial owner of two companies, Frontline Ace Global Services Limited and Asanaya Projects Limited. Oh boy. So we also discovered that the first defendant also has an interest in Asanaya Farms Limited, he added. Bello told the court that the investigation revealed that Oyo-Ita maintained two accounts at Zenith Bank PLC for Frontline Ace Global Services Limited. Besides, he said it was discovered that the ex-head of service had severally sat as chairman CEO of Frontline Ace Global Services Limited, where she issued both resolutions to open the said account. Oh boy. So having analyzed these two board resolutions issued by first defendant, the team realized that the first defendant is the beneficial owner of the account. So we carried out a careful analysis of the account she was closing and concluded that about 124 million naira has passed through this account. So we realized that there were payments in 2010 from Federal Ministry of Power into the account and other agencies like Power Holding Companies of Nigeria when it was a government agency. So these payments were from government coffers while she was serving as a deputy director in the same ministry he told the court. So Justice James Omotosho adjourned the matter until January 26 for the continuation of trial. So the News Agency of Nigeria reports that Oyo-Ita and her co-defendant were on January 18, 2023, arraigned by the Anti-Graft Agency on an 18-count charge of 3 billion naira graft. Okay. She was arraigned alongside her special assistant, Efcc, Frontline Ace Global Services Limited, Asanaya Projects Limited, Garba Oman and his companies, Slops International Limited, and Good Deal Investments Limited. Can you imagine? So other defendants include U&U Global Services Limited, belonging to Mr. Efcc, and Prince Mega Logistics Limited. They were all arraigned for alleged fraud in relation to duty tour allowance, extra codes, conference fees, and receiving kickbacks on contracts. So the defendants also pleaded not guilty to the charge. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that Oyo-Ita and her co-defendant were earlier being tried before Justice Taiwo of a sister court before he retired in July 2022. So they were arraigned before Justice Taiwo on March 23, 2020 on the same count. Can you imagine? So the way it is now, Oyo-Ita and her people have stolen about 3 billion naira while she was in office using different accounts. So she owned 2 accounts. Her special assistant, or whether Efcc, okay, Efcc, Gabriel Efcc, or what they call him, all of them stole her now for Nigeria. We are talking about Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Now this is head of service, former head of service, has also done the worst. So who is not a thief in Nigeria? That is the big question. Who is not a thief in Nigeria? This is very, very terrible. I'm telling you the truth. It is very, very terrible. So and now that I've been arraigned and the trial has started with James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja, and the case has been adjourned to January 26, which is just 2 days by the corner. Let's see how they will handle that matter. Efcc is on top. In fact, this year Efcc is obviously going to be overwhelmed. I think they will need to employ more people to be able to handle the anti-graft cases that will crop up this year. Tinubu is gradually starting a full-blown probe into Buhari's government. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comments.